Every day at this time, we talk with you, our great listeners, on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We hit the 1 year mark yesterday, and now we're putting our foot on the gas pedal again, heading into year number 2. And as we start this second year of the program, our hearts are just overflowing with gratitude to you, our listeners, to everybody at EWTN, the show team. We mentioned yesterday Rich Jesse, our producer, Matt Gabensky, call screener, Jeff Burson does the social media, Jack Williams, affiliate relations, Elena Rodriguez, Tom Price, Mike Peters, all the way to everybody at EWTN. Debbie, today we want to share an hour with our listeners. You and I want to celebrate them, and we want to know how the show has impacted any of you who are listening. But you know, we're not looking for, hey, you guys are great, pat on the back. But let's get together. Let's have a conversation about where the show has been, what it's doing in your life, and we want to know how the show can even be more beneficial to your spiritual life. Did I sum that up adequately, Debbie?
You did it beautifully. You did it so fast I couldn't even keep up with you. It was amazing. Did you mention Doug Keck? We got to mention Doug Keck as well.
Well, I said everybody throughout EWTN. So.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's kind of like when you pray a litany of saints, then you say all the angels and saints pray for us.
That's right. But and you know, we're blessed. We're so blessed, Jerry. We are actually, I feel like an Oreo cookie. We're sandwiched in between Johnette Bankovic and Dr. Ray, which I think is so wonderful. You know, we have that. That's also a nice added support right around us on Take Two, which is really beautiful. There's the shows on EWTN are superb. And dear listeners, you have made Take Two one of those shows that has been something that you identify with. And so today we are really kind of celebrating the anniversary, the 1 year that we have been broadcasting with you, for you, by you, because it's your show. And now we'd like to, like Jerry said, look ahead. He said it so wonderfully. Look ahead with your help. Maybe you could offer suggestions. This is also a time maybe you could just share your general thoughts about Take Two. We read your emails. We hear your comments about how you feel about Take Two and what it has done in your life. Maybe you have some input on where you want us to go for this upcoming year, or maybe you even have some thoughts about the past year that maybe we didn't hit certain marks on certain topics. And if you want to share that, we'd love to hear from you. So call in quickly. We want to get as many calls in as possible and make this a very fast, I'm taking notes, very fast show, and also a show that we can use for future shows. 1-800-585-9396. It's Take Two anniversary here on EWTN. We're glad you joined us, but call in 1-800-585-9396.
We talked a little bit during the year, and this is something Debbie and I want to look at a little more closely, is going out and doing the show live where you are, dear listeners. And we had some people provide some feedback and email us and say, hey, come here, come to our area, come to our parish. So maybe you would like to do that. You can plant some seeds, some ideas. We don't know if and when we'll be able to do that, but it is something we want to be. We love not only being with you during this 55 minutes on the air Monday through Friday, but we would love to be with you in person. Just share your faith, what's going on in your life, share more of ourselves with you. So if you think it would be a good idea for us to go out on location, you can share your insights and thoughts on that. But anything about the show, really, it is yours. So you can suggest topics, 1-800-585-9396. The phone lines are going to fill up fast today, so I think you might want to call right now if you want to get on.
And here's the other thing, too. I'm going to be so bold as to say this. You support probably your local Catholic radio station. And if you're listening to Take Two, maybe at midnight or at hours that you have to stay up for to listen to us, and there's so many of you that are doing that because we hear from you. You said you've called us and emailed us and said, why do I have to listen to you at midnight? Can't I listen to you at 9 a.m. or at noon? Please feel free to call your local radio station. You can impart that. You can share that. They need to know how to best serve their audience. And so they want to be able to give you the programs that benefit you. And if you're in one of those areas that it's not live and you would like to call in live, maybe share it with your local radio station. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it really does help the local radio stations to shape their programming. So if you could call in right now, we would love to hear from you. I do have my notebook out. I am going to make notes. So whatever you impart to us, we are going to take it seriously at 1-800-585-9396.
Well, if and when you do call your local affiliate and ask them to put our show on the air, if it isn't, go easy on the Debbie Georgiani Sicilian, okay? Don't go all Sicilian on them. Just be real nice and just say, we think it would be a good idea if you carried this. But and by the way, thank you to you affiliates who carry Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And thanks to EWTN, and Debbie mentioned supporting local Catholic stations and supporting EWTN. Folks, this is such a time of great urgency in our country that we have Catholic radio. I like to say that we have a place at the media table. Mm-hmm. And if we were ever to lose that voice that we have in the media right now with EWTN and local stations, radio and TV and print media and so forth, it would create a huge void, and I think it would be to the damnation of a lot of souls who find their way home through these media outlets. So 1-800-585-9396. We're celebrating the anniversary, 1 year of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie today. What do you think? Let us hear from you.
Okay, since you brought up the Sicilian thing, Sicilians tend to wear their heart out on their sleeve, and you definitely know what we think, what we feel, because we tend to be very blunt. So I'm going to be very bold. I would love to go on location in the Denver Catholic radio area. I feel strongly about it. I don't know why, Jerry. From the very beginning, we've had a lot of Denver Catholic radio listeners call in throughout the entire year, and I think it would be a blast to go out on location in Denver and do the show live with a big audience. It was so much fun when we did it in the Holy Land. I think the Denver Catholic radio listeners would really get a kick out of it. So I'm just planting that seed. Who's ever out there who has the gumption to go out and make it happen, I would love it. I would love the Denver Catholic radio area.
Or anywhere else. Yeah, I agree. Great folks in Denver and everywhere we are broadcast. So thanks for tuning in today. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're going to get to your phone calls here in just a minute. That number again is 1-800-585-9396. 1-800-585-9396. Yesterday was the actual date of the anniversary, but we counted down 3 of the most popular shows from the first year, Monday through Wednesday. So today we are just having a conversation with you. And you don't want to sit here and listen to me and Debbie the whole show, do you? No, you absolutely don't. So we want you to do some of the talking at 800-585-9396. Stay with us.
The EWTN home video highlight for June is Living the Scriptures with Mother Angelica. These vintage Mother Angelica episodes will profit your soul and cheer your spirit. Each episode demonstrates Mother's insights, wisdom, and humor, which beautifully penetrate her reflections on the Old and New Testaments. Order your DVD set at EWTNRC.com, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or call 1-800-854-6316.
We like to think of it as Catholic social media for the ears. There's more coming up of our first anniversary celebration of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio.
Father's Day is Sunday, and EWTN Religious Catalog has a huge selection of memorable gifts just for Dad, including Warrior Rosaries, St. Michael icons, mugs, books, DVDs, and more. Show Dad just how much he means to you and directly support the important work and mission of EWTN. Shop today at EWTNRC.com. Have a happy Father's Day from EWTN Religious Catalog.
This is Bishop William Medley of the Diocese of Owensboro.
This is Al Cresta, host of Cresta in the Afternoon.
Hi, I'm Archbishop William Laurie, the Archbishop of Baltimore, and you're listening to EWTN Radio.
Thanks for being with us on Anniversary Week on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. Today we're talking about how we can make Take Two even better, and that we need to hear from you. You drive this show. So if you want to call in and share your take on how you feel about Take Two, what it has meant in your life, maybe where you wanted to travel to in this next year, we're willing to listen. We've got our notebook out. We're willing to take notes and make sure that we implement it in the upcoming year. But we got to hear from you. 1-800-585-9396. We always hear from Station of the Cross listeners, so come on, you guys, call in. Iowa Catholic Radio, and we hear from all across the United States, even internationally. So call in and share your feelings about Take Two. Leo, you are first up, and we're so proud of you. You got in there really quickly. You're first up on Take Two. You're listening to EWTN Catholic Radio in Scranton, Pennsylvania, on JMJ Radio. Hi, Leo. Welcome to Take Two.
Hi, Jerry. Hi, Debbie. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, doing great.
Fine,
Thanks, Leo.
thank you. First of all, I would like to start out by saying happy anniversary to both of you. And I am a first-time caller, but an everyday listener. And I would like to take a line from the late, great Bob Hope that once said, because that is the topic that I hope you can talk about on one of your shows. And that topic is called Thanks for the Memories. What are some of the special memories that you have experienced as you were growing up as a child, a teenager, and now finally as an adult? What were these special moments, and what did they mean to you?
I like
that, yeah.
I do too. I love it. I wrote it down, Leo. I absolutely love it. And what inspired you to think about this? I know you obviously quoted Bob Hope, but what makes you? Do you have a special memory?
Well, just because as growing up, when we were kids going away on trips and vacations, and then growing up as a teenager, graduating from high school, now as an adult with your grandkids and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So those memories mean that they're near and dear to you, and you often think back to them, and they bring you thoughts of joy and probably laughter and just fun times.
Yes.
Yeah. And those are
Leo,
those are things that can help us to move forward. Go ahead, Jerry.
Well, I was going to say, Leo, you sound like somebody who probably listens to Catholic radio a lot. So, what do you not just our show, but in general, how does that add to your life? We were talking before about how it'd be awful if we ever lost it. What part does Catholic radio play in your life?
It plays a very important part in my life. Brings you closer to God, and it's very important. And I just like, this is the only channel I listen to, and I listen to your show every day.
You're very kind, Leo. Thank you very much for doing that. And it's beautiful, Leo, and Debbie, you know this. One of the really neat things about this is we only can get on so many calls during a particular show, but to know that there are others listening, and Leo is one of them. This is his first time he's called, but he's been a listener. And Leo, it just means the world to us that you're there, and the rest of you who are listening right now as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Leo, and the thing that's really cool is when you said you're a first-time caller, we've had a lot for the past year. We've had a lot of first-time callers that have listened to Catholic radio for many, many years, but felt prompted by the Spirit we were lucky that they called in to Take Two. And so we just are so grateful to you that you felt comfortable to do that. And please keep listening, because I wrote it down in the notebook, and usually when it goes in the notebook, it's going on our topic calendar. Thanks for the memories, and that would be a show prompted by Leo from Scranton, Pennsylvania. That's pretty cool. Does that work for you?
Could I tell you one more thing?
Sure.
Sure.
Jerry and Debbie, I would like to wish you both once again a very happy and blessed anniversary. Thank you, and God bless you both.
Thanks, Leo.
Thanks, Leo.
And Scranton is a beautiful area. Thanks for calling in, and thanks to the folks at JMJ Radio for airing Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We have that phone line open there. Here's our number. Who else would like to join us? It's our anniversary program, and when you have an anniversary, and this is of our anniversary of being on the air, okay, we want to make clear, Debbie's married, I'm not. Debbie's married to Marty.
Yes.
Marty is a fantastic guy. So we are
Yes, he
not,
is.
the two of us are not married, but we're celebrating this anniversary on the air. And the number is 1-800-585-9396. And Debbie, you can't throw an anniversary party without inviting family and friends, right?
Friends, absolutely. And it's got to be a time for celebration, a time for just huge amounts of gratitude and excitement for the future. And that's why we're counting on you. So dial in, share whatever's on your heart. If you just have something, maybe you would just like to talk about something and you thought, well, okay, they're asking me to call in. I better just speak now or forever hold my peace. That's exactly right. Speak now. 1-800-585-9396. Here come the calls. They are flooding in. I love it. 1-800-585-9396.
Yeah, we have a lot of calls that we're going to get to. But Debbie, I think one thing that people might like to hear is from each of us just for a couple minutes. So those of you on hold, we appreciate your patience. Again, it's 1-800-585-9396. But let's each take a minute or so and just share what the show has meant to us and our memories of 1 year of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And I'll defer to ladies first.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, I can tell you that, see, I'm going to get teary-eyed. Maybe I shouldn't go first. Dear listeners,
even if you go second, you're going to get teary-eyed.
I'm going to get teary-eyed. I know. Okay, you're right. Dear listeners, you have inspired me beyond belief. Your power, your belief in the power of prayer has completely changed the way I look at prayer. You have taught me things I thought I thought I had learned, but I guess I didn't. And I've just I'm in awe of you, dear listeners. You are absolutely amazing. Your thoughts, your kindness, your wisdom, your willingness to help others. What I think for this past year, what really I love about Take Two is when somebody calls in and has a really difficult situation that they are encountering, like maybe the loss of a loved one or an illness that has happened or something really tragic that has happened. So many of our listeners on Take Two will follow up with emails afterwards and say, please tell so-and-so that I'm praying for them. Please tell so-and-so this is what they can do. Please tell so-and-so I'm pulling for them. You know, it's so beautiful to see everybody come together as a family and a community. And I think that's what has really, I have really noticed about Take Two listeners is that we all seem to have the same kind of disposition that we really want to help each other. We want to get closer to God and we want to do it together. And so that's my real takeaway about this last year. And so you've taught me more than I could ever have imparted to you guys. And so I thank you for that.
Well, not much left for me to say, but that was beautiful, Debbie. And we do, again, we're going to get to all of your calls here in just a minute. We have one line open, in fact, as we celebrate 1 year of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you. All right, this is really, we almost should add that formally on the title of the show, Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you. But weigh in on this conversation, 1-800-585-9396. I just echo so much of what Debbie said. I think and so many Catholic radio hosts, I know we can speak for our colleagues on EWTN radio when I say the comfort level that you bring to your participation in our show. You literally, we feel like we know you, and it sounds from your voices and the way you greet us that you feel that comfort, like that you know us. And so many of you have shared just really, really amazingly deep things going on in your lives, and pain and wounds and joys and happiness. And how many people get to do that? Debbie and I, Debbie lives in Phoenix, I live in Southern California. We each get to get out of bed in the morning, put our feet on the floor, and know that for an hour we get to just be with you and do our little part to help make you a better person, which makes us better people. So anyway, I don't want any of this to sound syrupy, but this is real, folks. This is what Debbie shared, and what I shared is just really from our hearts. So thank you for being part of it. And now back to your calls. Thanks for the patience. Denise in Salem, Massachusetts, listening to EWTN Radio on the Station of the Cross. Hi, Denise. Welcome to our anniversary show of Take Two.
Hello. Thank you
Hi there.
for taking my call.
Mm-hmm.
I adore listening to you both. I listen mostly, of course, in my car while I'm driving in between my work. But I wanted to throw out a suggestion for a topic regarding people's traditions within their Catholic faith. I think within different nationalities, people have beautiful ways of celebrating traditions. So I'd love to hear what some of them are out there. And I don't know if that's a topic that you've done before, but I would love to hear something like that.
Well, Denise, we've done something a little bit similar to that, but I love that because you're kind of zeroing in on maybe people's cultural traditions in the Catholic faith, and I think that is, I would love to hear that as well. I know that growing up, we had certain Italian traditions. I always bring that up because I'm Italian. That's all I am. 100%. So, but I would love to hear other people's traditions, and so I wrote it down. I absolutely love it, Denise. I have to ask you this real quickly. Do you have a particular tradition in your family that you that to highlight?
Oh my gosh. We're Portuguese. We are full of tradition.
Wow.
Tell us.
Well, for example, we celebrate the Holy Ghost, so the Espírito Santo, which is a big tradition where, we grew up offering up food for everyone, and then they have a crowning where you can come in and ask the Holy Spirit to come upon you and have blessings. Just beautiful traditions. That's just one.
Wow. When does that take place, Denise? What time of year?
It's Pentecost.
Oh, okay, at Pentecost. Wow, I never knew that. That is amazing. I would love to learn more about that. See, I love it. I vote we definitely do this show. What do you think, Jerry?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And Denise, I don't know if you were also referring to possibly doing a little bit more on the different rites within the Catholic Church. Was that also included in what you were thinking about?
I think all of it. I love to hear people call in. I love to hear, because I think sometimes as individuals, even for myself, sometimes we feel alone in our faith, and we feel like wherever we are that someone might not understand or nobody understands. And I think what happens is when people call into the show and we sit and start to listen, we don't feel so alone. And then it makes it more real and more, I don't know, I just feel like it's easier to just go through the day. So it's just nice to hear. So maybe there is some sort of tradition or within someone else's faith that might be that next catalyst for us to move forward in our own faith.
I
Very
agree
nice.
with you. Yeah, 100%,
Go ahead, Deb.
Denise. You said it so beautifully. I tried to say that when Jerry was asking me about what I thought about the year of the show, and you said it so beautifully. That's exactly how I feel. That the fact that we can go through things together, we can lock arms and walk together and realize we're not alone in anything we are encountering. There is someone else out there that can relate to it or can empathize or sympathize, and it really does help to move forward. I don't think there's anything worse in the world ever than to have that feeling of feeling alone. I think that's just a horrible feeling. Isn't it true? That's why that saying, I hate to even say it, but that saying, misery loves company. There is comfort in knowing somebody else has journeyed that same path. When you feel like you're all alone, that's when you feel like you're in an island, and then desperation sets in, and all sorts of really negative thoughts that God never intended for us. He did intend for us to help each other. I agree with you 100%, Denise. I love your call. It really has helped me today. I appreciate that very, very much.
Thanks, Denise, for joining us from Salem, Mass. We appreciate that, and we love the Station of the Cross. And our next caller is also on the Station of the Cross right after a short pause. Kathy in Erie, Pennsylvania. Hang on. Ron in Los Angeles, one of our good friends. We'll get to Ron, and we've got a couple of lines open there as we celebrate 1 year on the air of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We've had people come on the show during this year and say, well, I'm nervous, or I'm bashful, or I've never called before, I don't know what to say. We've even had people say, well, what I have to say, I'm not going to be very popular. And all we say to every single one of you is the only bad or wrong call is the one you're prompted to make, but you don't make, because we're wide open here. We're family. We want to hear from you. And So let us know what you think of this show, topic suggestions, what we could do, how it's impacted you. 800-585-9396.
From EWTN News Nightly in Washington, D.C., I'm Brian Patrick with your EWTN News Link. Egypt's investigation committee says the cockpit voice recorder of the doomed Egypt Air plane has been found and pulled from the Mediterranean Sea. Searchers say the so-called black box is damaged, but the critical memory unit has been recovered. President Obama and Vice President Biden visit Orlando today, showing solidarity with a community that lost 49 people in a mass shooting over the weekend. They will meet privately with the families of some of the victims. CIA Director John Brennan tells the Senate Intelligence Committee ISIS will continue to inspire so-called lone wolf attacks on the West. He says it's likely the terror group will rely more on guerrilla-style tactics to compensate for its territorial losses. And the world of circus spreads a culture of encounter, and circus workers have a unique opportunity to be Christ's witnesses to even the most distant of people. That message today from Pope Francis to members of the Italian circuses and other traveling entertainers.
Raymond Arroyo with Mother Angelica, A Remarkable Life. When she was here at Sancta Clara, at this monastery in Canton, Ohio, Sister Angelica had a nickname in the cloister. It was Miss Fix-It. She was the person they turned to whenever the appliances went on the fritz, or in one instance, the leaky basement began to flood. Mother Angelica was called in to fix it. She assembled a crew of fellows from the old neighborhood, became foreman of the project, and it would be the first of many projects this nun would preside over throughout her life. Stay with EWTN as we continue to celebrate the life and legacy of Mother Angelica.
God bless you. We're so glad you're with us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Today, we enter into the second year of broadcasting our show with you. And we're just asking you, help us look back, help us look ahead. And if the show has added maybe even a little bit of a boost to your daily life, we'd love to hear about that. Not because we want to know how great we are, how great the show is, but we're looking for the feedback, the participation, your involvement. You really are a part of the show. 1-800-585-9396. As promised, Kathy, listening to the Station of the Cross in Erie, Pennsylvania, EWTN Radio broadcasting there. Hi, Kathy. Welcome to our anniversary show of Take Two.
Hi, happy anniversary. Thank you for taking my call.
God bless you.
I try to listen every day. The man that called, the first caller today, really, I mean, it was such a simple suggestion, but I thought, how nice, that's so sweet. And all of a sudden, my memories and my mind and everything just went like ballistic. And then I just thought I have to call in with a couple comments on sharing of the memories. I grew up in an extended family. We lived in my grandmother's house, and I don't know if I can picture for you what our house, our family looked like. I mean, there wasn't a place on the wall, there wasn't a picture, you didn't have to dust because there was so many things of everybody's all over the place because of my grandmother and my mother being seamstress. But anyway, I'm not going to go into that. But fast forward to, going back a little bit, we had a porch swing. And, of course, I think that's a sacred place in any home. And and a glider. There was a pretty large trouble. So when my aunts who used to live there would come home, I mean, it was just like open door. They never said, we're coming. All of a sudden we had these like 13 people and we're all sitting on the porch, and my mom could always find how to multiply the fish, But I can remember my father. My father was a very, very good steward. My mother actually too. But one of the memories my father my father was a hunter, and depression was part of our family. I mean, there were some beautiful positive things now that are blossoming from my past, but there were a lot of struggles and strifes. But he used to tell this story about, he was a hunter and he used to hunt with his father. Well, his father died shortly after he moved in with my grandparents, so it was a big hurt for my father. But he used to tell the story of my father and my mother going to, I think it was a Catholic Daughters of America Halloween party, and back then they took this very, very seriously. They would park on the other side of town and walk, so nobody knew what car you got out of. My mother was dressed up as Daniel Boone, and my father was dressed up as a grizzly bear. Well, they're walking up to where this party was going to take place, and then this big German Shepherd take off after my father. I don't remember how the story ended, but it was on the swing, on the porch, all about these stories. But anyway, fast forward to my life, and I had to go through a divorce. It was inevitable, and when you go through pain like that, well, when I went through the divorce, not only did my 4 children suffer, and I ended up, sharing with back and forth with the children, and the pain of not having your children for parents, you just can't describe that. No matter how long it is, 1 week, 2 weeks, a year, but.
Well, Kathy, let me jump in and ask you something here. I sense what you're getting at is how memories and events and circumstances in our lives help to shape who we are today and make us the people that we are. Is that kind of on the mark?
Well, that is part of it, but the main thing I'm really trying to get, thank you for helping me, because I can get sidetracked a lot, but main thing I'm trying to get at is that there's so much brokenness in families now. Mm-hmm. And I know that when I went through the early years of the divorce, in fact, it was more than just the early years, I couldn't look at pictures.
Right.
And because my brothers and my sister sort of stepped away from me pretty much too, I lost both sides of my family. So the aloneness was stark. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't look at the pictures, and I wouldn't think of the memories. I just blocked it out because it was too painful. So when I finally got to the point where I could take out the pictures and started sharing the stories, there was such a healing and a forgiveness that could come toward the people that had ostracized me.
Right.
And it's not automatic, but it's very, very gradual. And I think it's a sign of hope, because when my mother died, she was a person that was always the hurt stops here. Right. She was a woman of peace, and when she was buried in pink. And I don't know that was purposely chosen, but it just
right. But Kathy, let me just share something, because I can relate to what you're saying. Having gone through a divorce and having had families, all of families that were your family, all of a sudden are no longer, or have split, or you don't have a real relationship with anymore. And I agree with you that there's a deep pain that is there. One thing that I had a wonderful deacon tell me one time, and I've cherished this words of wisdom. He said to me, Debbie, first of all, your memories that you have in the past, you can put yourself back in that time and in that place and enjoy that memory, because that memory was real. Those feelings that you had back then were real. Those loving moments, that connection you had back then was real. But now, today, and going forward, there's time for new memories. There's time for new experiences, and to set my thoughts and my heart in that direction would definitely be much easier, plus bring me much more joy, than to go back and to look at memories and feel that sadness. So I don't know if that can help you at all, Kathy. It really helped me, because when I look back 20 years ago and I see a picture of my quote unquote old life, I don't get sad anymore. I look at it and I think back to when that day was, and I say, wow, that was a great day. That was a fun day. That was a great time. But now it's time for me to have new memories, new feelings, new experiences. So I hope in some sense that echoes what you're saying and also gives you comfort to know that you're not alone in feeling that. Those of us who have journeyed the life experiences that we've journeyed, we've experienced that. So I hope that can give you some set of excitement for the future, because life's waiting for us to really make new memories. And so I think that's what's wonderful about it. I hope that in some way brings a small kernel of joy, Kathy, and we so appreciate your phone call. Thank you so very, very much.
Thank you, Kathy, for joining us, and thanks for the anniversary wishes. 1 year of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're celebrating this week, in particular today. So if you'd like to join us, share your thoughts on the program, a look back, something that you heard that inspired you, maybe changed your life, a topic you'd like to suggest, 1-800-585-9396. Ron, I promised you would be after Kathy, but if you don't mind, if you can hold just for a couple more minutes, we want to get quickly to Rich, who wants to get on the air in Baltimore listening to EWTN Radio on Sirius XM 130. Hello, Rich. Welcome. This is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Hi, guys. Thank you very much for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Sure.
In a nutshell, I feel like I just need a miracle. I realize it's a broad statement, but I kind of feel like I'm approaching the end of my rope in several ways. All I want to do in my life, all I want to achieve is have financial stability, a romantic relationship with a woman who I spend my life with, share my life with, and the ability to help others. And I realize that I must be the common denominator, because at 51 years of age now, I haven't been able to manifest very much success at all. My girlfriend and I broke up about 4 months ago, and I miss her so terribly. And that relationship is over for various reasons. And aside from the devastation that just doesn't seem to get any better over that, I'm struggling financially in so many ways. I'm not going to bore you with all the gory details, but I'm a trainer in the mortgage industry, and work is just significantly dried up. And I'm just doing anything and everything that I possibly can right now to bring money into my household. Thankfully, it's just myself and that I don't have a family to support. But, struggling is just leading to nothing but sleepless nights. God has always been my strength, and I know the story of Joseph in the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, where Joseph suffered for many years before ending up the second in command of Egypt. And I know the footsteps prayers that God is always with us in their times of trouble. But honestly, I don't feel God. I'm seriously questioning his existence now. I've been praying for a miracle for so long, and nothing manifests. And I'm certainly willing to do the work. I'm not expecting to sit back and wait for mountains to fall from heaven. But I just don't even have a pathway to even see myself going down. I'm applying for tons of jobs. There's no positive response. I'm college educated and well qualified for many things. I just don't know what to do, and I need some hope and inspiration. I want to desperately become a life success coach, which is, I know, kind of ironic. But I desperately want to become a life coach. And there's a certification program that I need to go through that I just can't find the money to do. So it's like I need money to get ahead, but I can't get ahead until I have money. And it's like a cancer that's eating away at my soul. So I came across your radio station just looking for some kind of inspiration, and I felt prompted to call in, and that's why I'm there with you now. And I'm thankful for you taking my call. So basically, I get to summarize, looking for some kind of miracle, hope, and inspiration, because I don't know how much longer I can go on like this.
Well, Rich, I have a lot of things to comment, but Jerry and I are very passionate about first asking you this question. When you make the comment that you're at the end of your rope, or I don't know how much longer I can go on this, what does that mean? Tell me what that means.
Yeah, it's not what you think. I'm not going to do anything stupid in that respect. I have no intention intentions of harming myself. That's what I suspect that's what you're getting at. I'm out of hope. I'm out of faith because I feel like I'm up against a wall, and it's not even an obstacle. It's insurmountable, and I don't know what to do.
Okay. So first of all, let me give you a couple things. We're not going to have enough time to address this in the show. I would ask that if you could please email us at take2, the number 2 at EWTN.com. Please email us, Rich, because I have some free resources, life skill resources that I can send you that's not going to cost you any money, that can help you right away. So if you would do that, that's number 1. Please do that. Take2, the number 2 at EWTN.com. You said a lot. Thank you. And you said a lot of things. I just want to address a couple of things. First of all, Rich, you're not alone. Okay, we could probably bring in thousands of people right now who are in the same situation as you, that they feel like they're against the wall, that life is tough, their home life, their relationship life is not going the way they wanted it to, their finances are being totally stretched and they're feeling desperate. So you're not alone. That's the good news, okay? Because you don't ever want to feel like you're alone, because when you feel like you're alone, like I said earlier, then you feel totally desperate. So first of all, try to take that feeling of feeling alone out of you, because then you can start to see things. Number 2 is, Rich, it's so important. I can't stress this enough, that a recentering of your faith, a recentering of your prayer life needs to happen. And what I mean by that, Rich, is that a refocus has to happen, because it does all begin with God. And what I mean by that is God is your source, God is your strength, God is always faithful to you, always. And He is there. He is right next to you, Rich. Not to mention also the gift of your guardian angel is right next to you, Rich. Right next to you, going through, watching everything you're doing. So a refocusing of your prayer life can really make a difference in many ways. It can give you hope. It can give you resources. It can give you comfort. It can also give you kernels of that miraculous signs that you need to see, Rich. And so that's vitally important. Also, too, a great amount of discernment needs to enter into your prayer life. And what I mean by that is maybe there's a lot of things that aren't in alignment with what God wants for you. God may have a whole different will for you, and you may or may not be in alignment with that. And the only way to know that is through prayer and discernment. And so I feel bad for you that that the relationship ended with your girlfriend 4 months ago, and it sounds like your heart's breaking about that. It might be the best blessing in the whole world to you. We don't know until you really process it out. So there's a certain method to really developing a constant connection with God, and to feel Him there on a day-to-day basis, and to have prayer and discernment enter in, and then to see the fruits of that manifest in your life, Rich. I hope I'm making sense, because let me explain something. I'm living it myself, so I'm perfect proof of it. And if you want a miracle, if you want a sign, if you want something to happen in your life, it all starts with your connection with God. So the further you go away from God, the further it's going to be harder for you to see what God has in store for you.
How do I reconnect? I mean, I appreciate everything you're saying, and it's wonderful advice. But how does one go about doing that?
Okay, I'm going to turn that to Jerry, because he's got great advice.
I would just ask Rich. We asked a lot of our callers this. Do you have? Are you practicing your faith? Are you Catholic or Christian of another tradition? What is your faith situation right now?
So I'm Christian. I kind of align with Episcopalian, and I have a personal relationship with God. I don't go to church very often, but I pray every day. At least maybe not enough, but I mean I'm constantly praying to God, talking to God.
Okay. Yeah, and you say maybe not enough. Well, we got to avoid the trap of thinking, well, the more I pray, the more good things I do, God's going to bless me and stuff. That may be true. It's up to God. We don't know. But I would encourage you, whatever church you are used to attending, go to that church and ask the pastor if you can get together and talk about some of these things, because pastors are ordained. We are, of course, we are Catholic Christians, and we believe in the priesthood of Jesus Christ, but non-Catholic Christian traditions have pastors as well, and they are in a position of authority, and they have studied, and they have gone to seminary, and they typically have good relationships with God, prayer lives, and so forth, and that could be a real big help to you. Rich, myself, I see a Catholic priest, every month for what's called spiritual direction. And it's not like I go in and say, Father, what am I supposed to do? But I say, Father, this is what's happening in my life. I need you to help me make sense of it. Somebody outside, objective, who is not in the place of pain you are over losing your girlfriend, who is not going through the financial hardships that you are, but can share those pains with you and those difficulties and get into your situation and help you try to make sense of those. I would really encourage you, Rich, tomorrow, if you have a chance to listen to our show, the title of the show tomorrow is God Really Your Father? And we're going to get into a deep question about that, because a lot of people will say, well, of course God is my father, and intellectually know it. But in our hearts, Rich, in your heart, do you really know that God has your back? And He will provide for your financial needs. And if you're called to be married, He will provide the perfect bride for you. And so if you get a chance, Rich, call and listen to the show tomorrow. And just one other thing I would mention, and we'll mention this before the end of the show. Debbie and I have a new website, and there's a prayer wall on that website. And you can go on, and we'll give you details how to get on there if you keep listening for a couple minutes. Just say, hey, this is Rich. I was listening to the show. Everybody pray for me, and the whole listening family will do that. So, Rich, I know that's two big mouthfuls of stuff for me and Debbie for you to digest. I hope some of it helps at least a little bit.
Yes, very much so. I want to thank both of you. And I'm driving, so I can't write down that, and hands-free, don't worry. But I can't write down that email address. So what is it again?
It's take two, the number two, take two at EWTN.com. Please, Rich, do that. Rich, one other thing I want to say. You are a lot closer to this turning around in your life than you can imagine. Because let me share something with you. The fact that you called in on this show, the fact that you were very vulnerable and shared what's going on in your life, the fact that you said, I'm praying to God, I need God in my life. Rich, you got to trust me on this one. My Holy Spirit chills were going all over my body right now, because I could just feel that God was saying, see, one of my children, Rich, is reaching out to me, and I'm going to reach back. You got to believe that, Rich. Once we make ourselves vulnerable and we call out to God, He is there. He is right there for us. So please make sure you remember that and take comfort in that, and email us at take2, the number 2, at EWTN.com.
Thank you, Rich. Thanks for joining us. And I know all of our listeners are going to be praying for Rich already. So, Rich, you've got a lot of prayer support. Ron in Los Angeles, my goodness, our dear friend Ron, listening to EWTN Radio on Sirius XM 130. I can't believe I just did what I did to you, Ron, and made you hold so long. And we've only got about 2 minutes. But it's great to hear from you, Ron. Welcome to our anniversary program.
Good morning, and happy anniversary to both of you.
Thank you.
A quick response for Rich, a direct response. Rich, I'm a 56-year-old man, Catholic, disabled, got a heart that wants to give up at every moment, chaos in my life, but I know that God is my Lord, and He speaks to all of us in so many ways. He is the sculptor of our lives, and if we're soft and pliable to God, things won't be so bad, but when we're like rock, and God has to take the chisel and hammer out and knock away all the waste and the stuff that's not good for us. So keep that in mind, if you would, that He's there for all of us. He's reminding us that He is in charge, and for that I'm very grateful to know, and hopefully you will be too. So happy anniversary, you two. I'm glad that you've been there for the past year. You've had many moments that have helped us all, including myself, times of trial and times of joy. So thank you very much for that.
Well, Ron, thank you. I just want to vouch for Ron, folks. So we've known each other since I hosted Catholic Answers Live probably 15 years ago, and Ron's got AFib and financial difficulties and health issues and all sorts of things, and yet we speak occasionally by phone. And Ron, you're a true inspiration to me, brother. I just want to say, as I've said when we talk on the phone, I think I have problems, and then you and I get on the phone, and I feel guilty for thinking that I have problems. So, Ron, thanks for being the inspiration, and keep up the great walk with Jesus that you have.
Thank you for that. Thank you for your prayers. And again, happy anniversary. Many more years to go. And I'll be on the sidelines.
All right.
Thank you,
With
Ron.
your prayers, it'll happen, Ron.
That's
God bless
right.
you.
I was just going to say that. Ron has a beautiful heart. Thank you so much, Ron. And thank you. See how the Take Two family helps one another. Ron helping Rich, and we're all here to support one another. It's really quite beautiful, Jerry. This has been a great year. I'm so looking forward to taking on the rest of 2016 and 2017 and continuing with strong calls and strong topics and great prayers, and it just doesn't get any better than this, Jerry.
It doesn't. Thank you very much, dear listeners, for making the first year of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie fantastic. As part of the anniversary week celebration, Debbie and I have launched a brand new website, and you can find that by going to take2show.com, and there is a link to the Jerry and Debbie website. Go to take2show.com. Follow the link there, and please post your prayer intentions. Debbie and I will reply. You can reply to each other. It's an opportunity to build a prayer community, a prayer family. We call it the prayer wall on Jerry and Debbie's website. So you'll find a link to that at take2show.com. And I wanted to mention Ron in Los Angeles, whom we just talked to. Debbie has one of our Holy Land rosaries. Mm-hmm. And what I would really love, Debbie, I know you and I, we brought these rosaries back from the Holy Land, handmade olive wood rosaries made by Catholic religious sisters in the Holy Land, and you and I took them to many holy sites, the birthplace of Jesus, Jesus' tomb, and many of the other churches. You and I pray our rosaries on that every day. We would love to have our listeners join us in praying the rosary daily, if they can, with their very own Holy Land rosary.
Oh, that would just be beautiful. How wonderful is that? So you can visit the website, like us on Facebook. Don't forget to stay tuned in all day long on EWTN. Up next is The Doctor is In. Dr. Ray Garendi takes your calls. It's a great show. So please make sure you stay tuned in. Dear listeners, you have made this anniversary week so special, and there's more to come. We just are so grateful to you.
Well, once again, we count on you every day on the show and your prayers. So pray the rosary with us on your own Holy Land rosary. They are available right now. Find the link to our website at take2show.com, and we will talk to you tomorrow as we discuss, is God really your Father? Have a beautiful and blessed day.